In 2007, OSHA walked into our food distribution facility for what they called a programmed inspection. 3 hours later, they walked out with 4 citations that we received. None of these citations were catastrophic by no means, none of which involved any type of serious injury, but that inspection actually changed the way I approach safety for the remainder of my career. Picture this. You arrive at work. It's a normal day, and then someone says, "Tim, OSHA's here." Every safety professional that I've ever met knows that sinking feeling. And yes, it's a sinking feeling to know that OSHA, the Department of Labor, is coming into your facility or onto your job site. Boy, was I nervous. I'd never gone through anything like this before. So what happened? I was at the front desk talking to our receptionist when we both noticed this small car, four-door car, pull up into the parking lot. And I was looking at that car and I seen the state tags on the vehicle. I knew right then it was probably OSHA. I started to almost sweat immediately as they came in. I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. Never being involved with an OSHA inspection before, so I really just didn't know. Oh yes, we had talked about OSHA in different safety classes that I've had over the years when, taking different things for OSHA at your workplace, but for different reasons. But for me at the time, I was actually totally clueless. The inspector came in, introduced himself, and explained why he was there. He explained this it was a programmed inspection, and what he wanted to do was perform a walkthrough inspection of our facility. To start, the OSHA compliance officer, the HR manager, and myself, we all sat in the conference room for, I'm going to say, a good 20 minutes or more. Again, the compliance officer explained why he was here, what he was doing, that it was a program inspection. And this would not take long to do, and it wouldn't take up a lot of time of our day, but it's something that we needed to get done. Really, the meeting went a lot better than I thought. But then again, it was only the first step or the first part of his reasoning for being here in the first place. Now, if you ask me if my heart was racing, I'm going to have to say yes, it was. I was thinking to myself, okay, training records, training itself, inspections, PPE, lighting, electrical, what could go wrong? But again, I was thinking, hey, we're prepared. We know what we're doing. We're good. We're good. I was trying to be as positive as possible. So then came the walk around. I'm thinking now, the first part is over, which was the opening conference. And okay, now let's get out there and get down to business and do a walk around the warehouse. As we walked through the facility together, at first, everything seemed to be going really well. Then the inspection actually stopped. He pointed to an electrical wire that was actually exposed. Time and time and time again. Myself, I've walked past this same electrical line or little small box numerous times. Then, a little farther down the aisle, he noticed a fire extinguisher that had been discharged and never actually been replaced. It was kind of hidden back out of the way. And I was saying to myself at this time, well, that's number 2. How could I have missed this during an inspection as well? But somehow or another we did. Then at that time, an employee walked up to the compliance officer and he asked if he could talk to the compliance officer for just a moment. The officer said, sure, no problem. And then he looked at me and he paused, kind of with a smile across his face and not realizing what I was supposed to do at this time. And then he says, Mr. Heath, if you will, this is a conversation between A and B, and I need you to see your way out of it, if you will. So I did. I excused myself for the next few minutes. I said, yes, no problem. And when you get ready, you can find me. I'll be in my office. And after a little while, he came by and we resumed the walkthrough. And he never mentioned again what the conversation was between him and the employee, which was fine, which was fine. Shortly afterwards, the compliance officer wanted to look at training records. And I'm thinking the entire time, this was an area where we had a home run. I was sure of it. I just knew everything was going to be up to date. I was wrong. Not only did the compliance officer find lapse in training records, but he also found we had not performed some of the required PPE training for all the employees. So there we were with an opening conference, a walk around inspection, and a closing conference that we actually performed and ended up with some citations. Now, did you notice something? None of these were dramatic. There was no huge complaint, no serious injury to deal with, but together they were issues. The issues were compliance officer found were they painted a picture, if you will. These little issues kind of come together and told a story. So, what's the big lesson out of this? OSHA didn't teach me to look for big problems. They taught me to notice the little ones, the ones that kind of come up and bite you in the ankle, because little problems usually point to bigger weaknesses. The inspection changed our culture. So what did we as an organization do at this time? We got with all of our supervisors and we got them more involved in safety and day-to-day operations that we needed to expand on, especially as supervisors. What do you need to look for throughout your work areas? What are some of those little things that other people aren't noticing that you may have not noticed? We got with the maintenance team. They're the ones that was doing the inspections of the fire extinguishers, the sprinkler system, some of the other stuff that the normal supervisors and managers wouldn't be doing. But maintenance had a good idea of how these operations worked. So we got with them to really pay more attention and to put these on a more of a regular schedule to make sure these fire extinguishers got inspected. The inspections themselves, we made sure that they were on calendars and that they were created, and we got these done in, a couple of inspections a month. And we involved our safety team in these inspections along with maintenance and supervisors. Our communication improved across the board. We made sure that we were not only communicating things with our safety team or the safety team with me as the safety coordinator, but we posted minutes throughout the organization of our actual monthly meetings that we held. What was our minutes? What was our actions that we had to do? What were some corrective actions that we worked off and put into play? All this was actually documented and posted so people can see exactly what we were doing. So yes, communication was improved greatly. Training became continuous instead of reactive. We made sure that it was on the calendars, that we covered all the trainings annually, and that we got these done ahead of time instead of being reactive. And we spent more time on the production floor being seen as a safety team, as the safety coordinator, and talking with the employees. Because when you do that and the employees, if you listen to them, they will tell you things that you need to know as a safety coordinator that will greatly help you out along the way. So in closing, looking back at that inspection, I'm thankful for that particular OSHA inspection. Yes, we had some few small fines that we had to pay, but that comes, par for course because OSHA come in and we did receive the citations. But it made me a better safety coordinator down the road. The inspection helped us to see and watch out for the little things. Yes, we were doing okay with finding and fixing the larger infractions, but the little things that aren't visible most of the time, that's what we needed to look out for. We learned that OSHA was not there to just dish out citations and fines, but to help us in our own safety culture so we could focus on building a better and stronger safety culture for all of our employees along the way. If you are new to this position or to this profession, don't wait for OSHA to find the little things. Do it yourself. Find them yourself, because every little thing you fix today could prevent a serious accident tomorrow. Safety isn't built during an OSHA inspection. It's built every ordinary day before OSHA ever arrives. So stay focused, stay observant, and stay sharp for safety. Take care.